Welcome back. I am Ashley, as some of you know. For those of you that are new, welcome. I am the owner and creator of All Things Mental Health by Ashley, which is a soap and self-care product line. I do have my business, but I'm also here on YouTube, trying to make my impact wherever I can, teaching you, bringing you into my life as a small business owner in a small town, and hoping that you can get something from my videos that you can apply to your business or your life or whatever. So let's get into today's topic. So in this video, I want to talk about how I spend my off season. So this is my first off season. I've been in business for 3 months, and now I have some downtime. I finished strong this year with vendor events and festivals and markets and things like that. So now I'm entering this kind of down season. Now, what I mean by that, actually down seasons, I didn't even really know what that was. I kind of learned on my own, and then it was reinforced by some people that I really look up to in the small business community here on YouTube. So I'm always constantly looking for markets, events, and festivals on a monthly basis. And I ran into a situation where after the Christmas season, I couldn't find anything in January. I couldn't find anything really in February, and couldn't find really any markets, events, or festivals in March. It wasn't until April where I started seeing markets and festivals starting up, and that really had me turn to see if any YouTubers that I watch in this community of small business ownership had anything to say about it, and some of them did. So what I learned is that this is our down season when it comes to events, markets, and festivals. So how am I going to spend my down season? I'm going to tell you. So one of the things that I'm going to do in my down season time is figure out my table setup. Now, I am going to post in this video clip a photo video of my table setup, of what I'm thinking. Now, what I mean by table setup is there are different ways that you can set up a table, different shapes or whatever. So L, T, U are some common positions to position your table at when we're talking about, at vendor events, festivals, and markets. So I've been testing out different shapes to kind of see what I would like. I already kind of have some idea of the space that I'm working with when it comes to events. I've gone to quite a few this year so far. So just kind of testing that out. I've bought some new props for my tables. And I bought some crates, some props. I'm getting new tablecloths. Just really trying to test different things out. So I've been, I put up my tables. I have things on my table and just moving things around, which is helpful in kind of doing that. So I know where are my empty spaces at on my table. If I need 2 tables, if I can, if I can fit everything on one table and it looks nice and full. Kind of trying that out ahead of time so that when markets and events and festivals do start up in April, I am ready, I'm prepared, and I can set up fairly quickly because I know where things need to be at for appealing eyes, from the perspective of it being welcoming to the customers, things like that. Like I said, the second thing is buying decor or some form of props for my tables. So, like I said, I purchased new tablecloths. I purchased I think it's called Bear Claw. I'm probably saying this awfully wrong, but it's like an old school tub. Clawfoot tub. To put my bath salts in. So just trying to really get on Pinterest and get inspiration on how can I make my table appealing besides just crates or just laying it flat on the table. I've also been trying out different size crates and things like that. So that's what I mean by decor for your table. I've also tried flowers and florals and different greeneries to kind of see what really helps my table pop. Next thing I've been doing, so number 3, is stocking up on inventory. I've been using this downtime to really make product. As you see behind me, there's not really much there because it's downstairs and on the table. When I decided to test out my table design, I put the props on the tables to kind of test out that design. I also took some product from my inventory downstairs to put inside of the crates and inside of the tub to see how it actually looks. Like, I really wanted a full experience of how is this table going to look? Do I have enough product so far to fill up the table, or do I need to make more product, and where I need to make more product at to fill up the table to make it look nice and things like that. So that's why it looks kind of bare, but I have been making product, mainly bar soaps and things like that. I have also been testing out different designs or packaging. So let me show you. I have been using this time to kind of figure out what type of packaging design do I really want to go with. So for example, one thing I've been doing is making sure that the labels that I use going forward have the ingredients in it, which is something that I did not do before. So I will show you one of the packaging that I did before and the evolution of it kind of so far. So for example, this is the packaging that I started out with my bar soaps. And these two are kind of the newer versions. I still don't know what direction I'm going to go, but in my downtime, I can use this time to figure it out and figure out what I want to do. So here's one version, and then here is the next version. I'm leaning more towards this version because it has the ingredients on it and all of that, and I can easily put this on here as well. So that's what I have been doing with my downtime as well, is not only stocking up on inventory but also testing out labels and packaging for the products. I've also been to number 4 is creating new labels, and along with that, it has been design of the labels as well as ingredients on the labels. So I've also been testing out labels itself. So I'm moving from so this label right here is not waterproof. Now for bar soaps, it may not be that big of a deal because people are going to take the packaging off anyway to use the bar soap. But for like my body wash, people may have that in the shower. And so I want to make sure that if they do have my body wash in the shower, the paper, the label is not going to melt away or smear or whatever. So I have ordered I think it's inkjet waterproof labels. So I have an inkjet printer that I will be able to now print my own labels, on my printer. So I'm excited to start doing that, and trying those out on different products. The fifth thing that I plan to do on my downtime, and I have started doing, is researching upcoming vendor events. So this one will be a long topic, kind of, because it is a lot of parts to this. I have been researching the event, festival, or markets. What I look at now, since I've done 7 from September to now to December, I've learned a lot, and I have had a lot of ups and downs when it comes to events. I have had a lot of I've had a lot of successes, not just in profit but also in marketing. I have learned what to look for in events and event coordinators, and I'm using all of that information to apply it going forward to 2023 so that I make good decisions when it comes to picking events. I've said in previous videos, there are some events I have done in 2022 that I will not do again in 2023. And vice versa. There are some events that I've done in 2022 and I will definitely do again in 2023. And let's get into that. So some things that I look at in 2023 when I'm choosing events are: 1, is this a new event? So has this event been going on for years, or is this the first time this event is happening? That kind of tells me, is this something that people know? Is this something people will know about? Is this something people look forward to every year? So, for example, in one of the towns that I do events in, or I have done events in in this year, this is an annual event. So everybody knows in October if this event is going to come up, and it's going to be a big event. They have food vendors. They are prepared. They have done this so many times. They are prepared for it. They have a backup, date in case it rains. Like and it is run by the town. So they are definitely organized. And that's another thing that I look at. Is this event run by the town, or is it run by a person? Right? I have found in my experience, I have been more successful, all around profitable, just all around good experience with events that are run by the town versus an individual person, run by a company versus an individual person. So it doesn't just have to be a town; it could be an organization, hosting the event, or a town. I have found personally those are more organized. I have more profit. They have the financial ability to promote, so they can have it in the newspaper, the radio, the whatever. Like, they can have it advertised a lot better than an individual person, and this is their first event that they are just creating out of the whim. I'm also looking at vendor fee cost and trying to see, am I going to make my money back from this event? I try to make at least 2 times the vendor fee amount when it comes to profit. I'm also looking at location. Is this event close to me? Is it further away from me? Am I going to have to get a hotel just to go to this event? And if I do, am I going to make big money at this event? That's what I'm looking at. I've also been trying to contact people in different towns. So like if I am considering doing an event in a town that I've never done an event in before, but I have heard this is a huge event. I've heard, this is a big event. They have an event page on Facebook, from 2022 that I'm looking at, and over 2,000 people went. That is what I look at. I want to see how many people commented, how many times they've done this event, how many people have gone to this event in the past. So if I know somebody from that town, I will contact them and just say, hey, have you ever heard of this event before? Is it big? As people say it is. And then I'll kind of use that to help gauge my decision. At first, when you first start off doing vendor events, markets, and festivals, I think it is a good idea to get your feet wet. Try a little bit of everything, because you will not know what is good for you and your business unless you try it. I would not have known a lot of this stuff that I'm telling you if I have not tried it and figured out whether it was successful or not for me. However, going into 2023 with 7 events underneath my belt, I think I'm more prepared this year. And I do have my list of events that I will be attending in 2023. I do have my list of definite. I've already put in applications and all of that. And then I have left some room for myself for some of those events that pop up that I did not know about, but has a good potential to be a good event for me. In this, I want to kind of talk a little bit about how I find events. When I first started my small business, I had no idea about vendor events, how to find them. I knew they existed, but I'm like, where? I have been going to festivals in my community for a while and had no idea that these are where vendors go to sell their product. So I happened to stumble upon, or I think I happened to reach out to somebody or saw a post or something, and that led me to my first vendor event. And ever since then, I've just used Facebook and Google as my platform to, Google festivals in a certain town, and not knowing whether that town even has festivals or not, but just trying it out. And my first festival, or my first event, was a fall festival, which then allowed me to Google fall festivals in this area or that area. Also, what helped me along the way find festivals and events were at festival events. I've said before in my video on do's and don'ts when you're at vendor events, talk to the people that are next to you, the other vendors. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Facebook, because as a vendor, when you get accepted into a vendor event, they ask you and tell you to promote it. They have a flyer and they tell you to post it on your social medias. That also helps people who don't know about vendor events, who are vendors, know that there's an event that they could be a vendor at. That's how I found quite a bit of my vendor events, is due to me liking or following other small businesses in my town, other small vendors in my town, and they are promoting, hey, like, upcoming event that I'm coming to is this whatever festival, and I'm like, hey, I didn't even know about this event. Let me look into this event. And sometimes it was profitable, and sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was a good experience, and sometimes it wasn't. But that's how I've gone about it. And over the months, I've just Googled and researched and just tried to find different events and figure out what makes the most sense for me. I'm also trying to be open to doing things a little bit differently this year. So doing 2-day events instead of just 1-day events and that type of stuff. Stay tuned for another video that I'm going to do on vendor fees and how I navigate what events I will do versus what events I won't do when it comes to that. But stay tuned to that. In my off season, I'm also, the final thing that I'm looking at is how much time and money do I want to invest in different events? That goes back to the piece of, is it profitable? Is it not profitable? Do I really want to spend $120, $200, $250 on an event that I have to drive 2 hours to just one way? Is that profitable for me? Do I have enough product for that type of event? Because if an event is that expensive, sometimes you would think that means it's going to be thousands of people there. And sometimes it's not. And so you have just invested that money. You have just driven that 2 hours one way. And even though I have said in videos before, sometimes it's not just about the profit, it's about the connections that you make. But that's also, you're also putting your hard-earned money into this event as well. So, it's a lot of things to weigh out when we're talking about events. And that's what I'm kind of using this downtime for, is to kind of figure out all of that and trying to make good decisions for my business when it comes to what events I will do, what events I won't do. And making sure also that I'm not burning myself out, because, do I really want to do an event every single weekend? I do have a life. I do want to relax. I do want to enjoy my summers and things like that. So just taking all of this stuff into consideration as I plan and put in my planner different events, and making sure that things are not overlapping, and that I do have, a few weekends, here and there to be, to practice my own self-care and do things that I want to do. So that was a long one, but I really wanted to make sure that I kind of talk to you about, off season. There are a lot of things that you can do in your off season. A bonus that I'm gonna give you right now, another thing that you can do in your off season is try to increase other sales. So if you get sales from markets, festivals, and events, that's great. But maybe trying to increase your online sales, whether it's Shopify, whether it's Etsy, trying to help promote and increase those sales, so that when you're on your down season, that doesn't mean that your profit is down too. It just means that you have more time to where you're not doing events, festivals, and markets, but you can still be busy doing online events and promoting your, product line and things like that. So just because it's downtime does not mean it's, slow time for your business, profitable. You can still use this time to help promote and get other sale opportunities up as well. So that's the bonus when it comes to spending your off season. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, so thank y'all so much for supporting me and watching my videos, and I hope it was helpful. Bye.